Let's talk about what the Book of Mormon actually is as a piece of literature. In 1829, a 23-year-old man named Joseph Smith, with minimal formal education living in rural New York with no access to a library, produced a 500-page narrative in about 65 working days. That's roughly 8 to 9 pages of finished text every single day. Let me put that into perspective. Ernest Hemingway, one of the most disciplined writers in history, averaged about 500 words per day. Roughly 2 pages. J.R.R. Tolkien, one of my personal favorites, took 12 to 17 years to write The Lord of the Rings. That averages out to about 0.2 pages per day. J.K. Rowling spent 5 years on the first Harry Potter book, less than 0.1 pages per day. Even Stephen King, who's famous for his prolific output, writes about 6 to 8 pages per day. Joseph Smith matched or exceeded Stephen King's pace. But here's the real kicker. King uses a computer, writes multiple drafts, and has editors. Joseph Smith dictated the Book of Mormon orally, with no notes, no reference materials, no ability to go back and revise. Witnesses actually described him dictating steadily for hours at a time without ever asking, where was I, or where did we leave off, after a break. He maintained complex narratives, multiple character voices, and intricate plot lines, essentially in just one draft. Now forget what you think by the religious claims for just a moment. Consider the fact that this text itself contains multiple distinct narrative voices. Each voice is remarkably consistent throughout hundreds of pages. The book weaves together complex plot lines spanning 1,000 years with detailed wars, political intrigue, religious movements, and theological arguments. It includes lengthy sermons on the nature of faith, justice, and mercy that would make any philosopher pause. There are poems, there's prophecies, and historical records. In the last 50 years, scholars have discovered complex structures in the Book of Mormon that Joseph Smith certainly wouldn't have known about. Things like chiasmus, an ancient Hebrew poetic structure where ideas are presented in one order and then repeated in reverse order. These patterns appear throughout the book, some spanning entire chapters. If you don't believe that Joseph Smith translated the ancient records, then you must believe that he composed it himself, which is an extraordinary literary achievement. If he wrote it, he was a literary genius who's been vastly underestimated by history. It should be studied in every English class around the country. If he translated it, well, that raises even more interesting questions. From a purely academic perspective, the Book of Mormon deserves a serious look. How was it created? What influenced it? Why has it resonated with millions of people? These are legitimate intellectual questions, regardless of your beliefs about God.